right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 90 and verse 12. And it says, so teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. All right, first off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bachakodash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone that teach and rule well. As always, peace and salutations unto the elect. All right, this is the brother Benaiah from the Great Millstone Dallas branch coming back at you with a quick lesson. All right, it's going to be a quick exhortation this morning. I'm going to read this verse again. Psalms 90 and verse 12. It says, so teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. All right, and this isn't literally counting your days like a calendar. It's about how you it's about how you see and use your life, because we know we're living in a time of prophecy. All right, and according to prophecy, Yahweh Shah himself said that the days will be shortened for the elect's sake. All right, and understanding that the days will be shortened. As you can see, I have something pulled up on Chat GPT that I'm going to kind of, go and, scroll through, get a couple of points. And then, like I said, Lord, within this lesson is edifying. All right. Like I said, it isn't about literally counting our days like a calendar. It's about how, we see and use our life and our time, man. You see, realizing that we're on limited time, man. You see, and if time being crunched, all right, we have to make every opportunity. All right, that Yahweh Shem Shah gives us. And every day is an opportunity that the Lord gives us to spend more time, all right, and align ourselves with Him, you see. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, all right. And mainly this is to you brothers and sisters out there, but mainly to you brothers that's in this in the camps, man. You see, we have to make sure, that we're doing our necessary work, man. You see, because like I said, man, the days are speeding up so fast, and it feels like you don't have any time to do anything. You know what I'm saying? But that's what a fight. That's what a fight comes in. All right, because if you're just gonna try to wait until you find time, all right, to do to give time to the Lord, and you're never gonna find time. That's why you have to make time for the Lord. Okay, you have to make time for the Lord. Okay, and understanding that to number our days, you got to be aware that, like I said, our time is limited. Limited. We don't have forever. You see, and understanding that every day matters. Every day matters. All right, I want to grab this real quick in the book of Ephesians, because like I said, we have to make the most of every opportunity. All right, so this is Ephesians chapter 5, and I'm going to read this in the NLT. It says, so be careful how you live. Don't live like fools, but but like those who are wise, right? You see, so we have to be careful how we live. You know, we have to be careful. Now, don't live as fools. Now, how is a fool going to live, thinking that he has uh forever, thinking that he has tomorrow, because tomorrow is not even promised, man. We don't know if we're going to make it. Just say if you brothers and sisters are listening to this video now, we don't know if we're going to be alive by the end of the day. We don't know what the Lord plan is. So, it's just like those Christians that say, if you die today, what do you think? You think you will go to heaven or hell? You know? No, if you would go back to the spirit world, if the Lord takes your spirit and you go back into the spirit world today, all right, would you think that Yahweh Shem Shah would be satisfied with the sacrifice that you've been given? You see? And that's a serious question that you should be asking yourself. And I remember that a brother had did a video. I don't know the brother's name, and I forgot the brother's page, but it was a while back. And he had a dream. He did a video on a dream that he did and had Salakia. And he said that in the dream, I guess the Lord called him back to the spirit world. And he was showing him. I guess the Lord was showing him like what he did on the earth, and he was like, damn, I could have did more. You know what I'm saying? And he was begging the Lord, man, like, Lord, please send me back. I got more. I got more to do. I got more to do, you know? And the warning that the brother gave in that video was, man, we have to make the most of today, because basically, you know, we have to make the most of every opportunity, which leads right into this next verse. All right, Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15 again in the NLT says, so be careful how you live. Don't live like fools, but like those who are wise. Make the most of every opportunity in these evil days. You see? So we have to make the most of every opportunity, man. Okay, every moment, reading, you know what I'm saying, studying. That's a part of our duties as watchmen. All right, as prophets. All right, for you brothers that's in the camp, and also doing your videos. You know, that's a part of that's a part of our duties as a prophet. All right, that's a part of your duty when you cross over. All right, into Great Millstone. Okay, it's to do your videos. You know, you had one point in time to where when the apostle had put that decree out for brothers to do 3 videos a week, and you had dudes that actually fell out because of that, man. You see, and ultimately that was the spirit of the Lord, because the Lord is pushing us to what? All right, to be more on fire, because the days are being shortened. You see, the days are being shortened. So let's go. Let me see. I want to read a little bit of this. It says, all right, when you realize time is limited, your priority changes. It says you begin to put the Lord first, value spiritual growth over temporary pleasure, and focus on things that have eternal weight. It's about choosing purpose over distraction, right? And we're living in a time to where it's great distractions. You see, it's confusion, and it's great confusion in the earth. You don't know what to see. But to believe what you see with your eyes, what all these videos on the internet. The world, the cares of the world is pulling at you. Your job, your bills, your kids, this and that is pulling at you. You get out of work, you're tired. You know what I'm saying. And it's like you just, it's to the point. Even these people in the world can see that time is being sped up. And they're not even in the know. Hey, man, and the time surely is going by. Man, tell me, every man, you got to. I mean, it's 2026. We're about to be in the 4th month of 2026. It just felt like we just had the year, the New Year's Eve of destruction. You see, last week, that's what it felt like. You know, so it's important in these times that we make sure that we make time for the Lord and not find time. You see, so let's go to this Chat GPT. Okay, let's go to this Chat GPT. So I asked Chat GPT about it. It says the urgency of the time that we're in. According to Matthew 24, the days being shortened isn't just about time moving faster. It's about increased intensity and urgency. Everything is accelerating. More distractions, more stress and responsibilities, more confusion and deception, less natural time to focus on Yahweh Shem Shai. That means one thing: if you don't intentionally prioritize the Lord, the world will intentionally pull you away, and that's true. You see, the world will pull you away. You know, you try to start getting, you try to start reading, then next thing you know, Big Booty Judy call you, hit you up with that text, hey, big head, you know, something come up, you know what I'm saying, and that's a part of the fight. This is a spiritual war, and that's how the enemy plays. That's his strategy. All right, it's just like soon as you lock in there, here comes distractions. Your kid's quiet as hell until you pick up your sword and and start reading or trying to get a lesson together. Then it's like all hell breaks loose in the fucking house. Everybody, your woman started coming up asking you questions when she didn't give a damn 3 minutes ago. You know, but this is, like I said, this is a part of the fight, and we all have to lock in and realize that. Okay. So number two, it says distractions are at an all-time high. It says we're living in an age where distraction is constant. Phone, social media, entertainment, yet a phone. You see social media, you know, work, bills, survival pressure, right? You see, worrying about a bill, worrying about this and that. You get so worried, and you try to make extra money and do this, but where's the time that you're giving unto your how about Shemi was shy? You know, like I said, you wake up, you go to work, you get out work, then trying to work out, it's just like you don't have time for shit. You see? You don't have time for shit. All right. And the enemy made it, Esau Edom made this society that way, to where a person don't have time. You crunch for time. All right. And the Lord, on top of that, the Lord just shortened the days. Okay. So we have to, what I'm saying? We have to make time, bro. You know, if you getting more pussies, you know what I'm saying? Because Jake, man, a woman to call, and then Jacob break the goddamn door down. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get to the woman, man. Hey, you get that fucking text. Hey, you up? You know what I'm saying? And Jake out the fucking door. You know, if you find yourself, getting pussy and spending more time with women than you do as a Lord, you need to check yourself. You know, we spend anything that we give him more time to, we got to check ourselves, man. And we're in the time of examination. We have to examine. Hey, the Passover is next week, man. You see, next window, the Passover is coming up, man. You see, and the Lord willing, this could be our last Passover in this place, man. You see, with everything going on and prophecy taking place like it is, you know, how much more should we all examine ourselves? You see, and mortify our members and cut off the bullshit. All right. It says endless information and noise. It says none of these things are always evil, but by themselves, but they become dangerous when they consume your attention. Right. You know, you get consumed about, you know, working out and you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you know, you spending more you spending more time at the fucking gym than you are, you know what I'm saying, with your how about Shimmy I was shot, and that's a problem. There's nothing wrong with working out, don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? Work like the scriptures say, bodily exercise it profited little, showing you that it has profit, you see? But if you're doing that more than you doing, you know what I'm saying? We can go, you can go get, like I said, you can go get some box every goddamn day. You know what I'm saying? But you can't do a video every day. You see? It shouldn't be weeks and spans of weeks before you do a video. You see? It shouldn't be camp. You shouldn't, you know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be, you know, you wait to camp to do it, you know what I'm saying, have a video. You know what I'm saying? No. We should constantly be, you know what I'm saying, with everything that's going on, we got a lot to talk about. And that's another thing too. Don't let that that demon get on you. You know what I'm saying? That demon of you know, damn, I already talked about this. Damn, you know, this brother already he just already did a video on it. That's a fucking demon, man. You see, trying to stop you, all right, from doing the work. Do the video, man. You see, we all of the same mind. You see, but everybody we got, you know, brothers have different perspective, different points you can bring out. You know what I'm saying? Who cares? Who cares that another brother did the video? You do it too. You see? So don't let that demon pop in your head about that either. You know. So it said, replacing your spiritual discipline, replace your spiritual discipline, uh, crowd out time with the Most High. It says distraction is one of the enemy's most effective tool. Not always through sin, but through busyness. Right? You see, constantly keeping you. You know what I'm saying? And that's true. Okay, that's very true. Let me see if we got a little bit more, and I'm gonna end it off. It says, the difference between finding time versus making time. Finding time is a passive mindset. I'll pray when I get a chance. I'll read later if I'm not tired. God gets leftover time, right? You see, and we don't, and that definitely shouldn't be our mindset. You see, especially knowing the scriptures that tomorrow is not promised. Hell, an hour from now is not promised. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know. Going back into the question that I asked, you know, earlier at the beginning of the video, if the Lord called you back to the spirit world today, would you think, you know, and you standing before Yahweh Shai, as the scriptures say, we all should stand before the judgment seat of Yahweh Shai. All right, would you think Yahweh Shai will be satisfied with your sacrifice? You know, that's something we all would seriously ask ourselves. And if that answer is no, then we got to get at it, man. You know what I'm saying? All right, it says it's a passive mindset. I'll pray when I get a chance. I'll read later if I'm not tired. God gets leftover time. Result inconsistent relationship with the Most High. You see, but making time is an intentional and discipline. You schedule God first, not last. Hey, and the Apostle Rakah, all right, is very big on. If you brothers had the honor of you know, being spending time and being around that apostle, he's very big on, you know, doing the work before he does anything. You know, especially, you know, you brothers who, you know, have to go, you know, pick the apostle up to go, you know, handle some business or whatever. You know, he'll tell you, hey brother, yo, come on upstairs, brother. I got to, you know, you come in real quick, you know, and you go in, and the apostle, yeah, I want to do, you know, put my videos up before we, you know, go do, you know, go handle this business. Hey, and that's the mindset to have, man. You see, putting the, you know, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah first. You schedule God first, not last. You sacrifice other things if necessary, right? We got to sacrifice other. Hey, we in the time of sacrifices, all right. Some shit we gonna have to give up, man, and that just is what it is. You know, it says, your guard. you guard that time seriously, right? You guard that time seriously. Growth, the result is growth, strength, and spiritual stability. It says spiritual truth. You don't find time for what matters. You make time for what matters, right? And that's true. You don't find time because if you're trying to find time, you ain't gonna never find this shit. So you have to make time. You see, you have to make time. Okay. It says, while making time for the Lord is critical right now. All right. It says number one. It says strengthen your strength depends on it. All right. Number two. It says your discernment depends on it. All right. Number three. It says your protection depends on it. Psalms 91 speaks about those who dwell, not visit occasionally. You see, consistency brings covering. You see, consistency brings covering, man. Okay. I'm gonna read that one more time. It says, "Your protection depends on it." Psalms 91 speaks about those who dwell, not visit occasionally. Number four is what your faith depends on it. Faith weakens if it's not fed. Time with God builds confidence and boldness. Right? You see, and the scriptures tell us in the book of Sirach that what put not make no tarrying to turn to the Lord and put not off from day to day. All right. For in thy security thou shalt be destroyed. All right, and consumed in the day of vengeance. Lord, roughly paraphrasing. You see, and like I said, you don't day to day. You don't know what we got tomorrow. So make the most of the time that we have now. You see, I don't want to be the dead horse. Lord, willing this lesson is edifying to you, brothers. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Chakodash, double honors unto the apostles of great millstone and teaching well. As always, peace and salutation to the elect. Shalom.